Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, 2021 Fall Classic Baseball, Miami at New York. New York is 4-1. The Marlins look like they are 6-2 from what I'm seeing. Yes, they are. And it's going to be Marcus Stroman 1-0 versus John Curtis. And we're about to start. Let's go over the lineups real quick. Dickerson in left field, Marte the center fielder, Aguilar at first base, Anderson the third baseman, batting cleanup, Duvall the right fielder, Chisholm the second baseman, Rojas at shortstop, Wallach the catcher, and Curtis the pitcher. For the Mets, it's going to be Nimmo, Lindor, and Smith, Alonso, Mcneil, and Conforto, Guillorme, Nido, and Stroman. And I believe I'm going to pull a card early on. It's still early in the morning. It is 6:06. I don't want to make too much racket rolling dice. So it's going to be we're going to start off with a 54 chart. We're going to look at the 54 chart. It says ground ball to the pitcher. Let's look at, we need a D20. So let's grab another card for D20. And it'll be a 4. So Stroman actually bobbles it. And it's going to be a 2-base error, I believe. So he throws it away over Alonso's head. So it's going to be an E1, allows Dickerson to make it to second base. So the Marlins have a runner at second to start off the game on an error by Stroman, who's known to be, I think he was a Gold Glove winner at some point. So he's fairly adept at fielding at his position. Here's one of the better players in baseball in terms of all-around skills. A guy named Starling Marte played for many years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. When you watch this guy play day in and day out, wow, he does it all. Outstanding player and has a great attitude, always smiling, and just makes everything look easy, whether it's fielding, throwing, base running, hitting. He's got it all. Does it all. Starling Marte. All right. Let us pull a card for Starling Marte. He's the second batter, so I'm going to use column 2. It's a 52 this time, so there's going to be an error check on the shortstop. Let's grab a D20. And it's an 18, so there's runner will hold. So bounce to the shortstop. Lindor fields it cleanly, looks at the runner, and one away. Next up, Marcus Stroman is going to contend with Jesus Aguilar, power hitting first baseman for the Miami Marlins, and he's batter 3, so I'll do column 3. It's a 62, and that will be a pop-up. With a 2, it'll be a pop-up to the catcher. Nido waits for it to come down and makes the catch, 2 down. And now it's Brian Anderson. And he is batter 4, so we'll use column 4, 23, strike 3, and that retires the side. And Marcus Stroman pounds the glove. No runs, no hit, an error, 1 left. And we move to the bottom of the first with the Mets coming up. I'm using PC Replay Baseball to keep track of my rosters, my schedule, my pitching match, my everything. Aguilar popped up, and then the strikeout by Anderson. All right, so here comes Brian Nimmo. Nimmo's batting .333 and 21 at bats in 6 games. Let's pull a card for Nimmo. He's batter number 1. That's a 34, and a 34 will be line and caught by the second baseman. So Nimmo rips it, but right at Chisholm at second for the first out. Here's Francisco Lindor, batter number 2 at 25, and that'll be bounced to second base. Chisholm fields it and throws them out, 2 down. Now, what I do in modern baseball, what I shoot for in terms of with pitchers is to get through 7. If they get through 7, man, that's like a complete game. And then I bring a couple of relievers. It makes it easy. If I got to pull these pitchers by the 5th, it makes it more complicated, because then I'm looking at, I only use pitchers for an inning. That's generally how they're used nowadays. And if one pitcher struggles, that's 5 pitchers I'm going to have to use, plus a star, that's 6 pitchers. So it really slows down, bogs down the modern game. So I'm constantly hoping for like at least 7 innings out of the starter. I'm trying to play it, keep that element of realism, but yet keep that also try to kind of make it playable as well, make the game playable. You don't want an hour and a half game. So Dominic Smith bats from the left side. And Smith is batting 143, so he's struggling with 14 at bats. He's got 1 home run. He's a third place batter, 36, and that'll be a blank. 36 is an out, line to right field. To end the inning, 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for John Curtis. Top of the 2nd inning. Duvall, Chisholm, and Rojas coming up. Duvall bats 5th. We'll look column 5. It's 15, and that's a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Stroman. He struck out the last batter in the 1st inning. 1 out here in the top of the 2nd with Chisholm coming to bat. Pull a card to, he is batter number, that's a ground ball check with, and we'll pull another card. He is 6, that's an 11 on the first baseman, Alonso, and that'll be a ball that Alonso fields. And he flips to the pitcher covering. So it's a first batter struck out, and then it was a 3-1 for 2 outs in the inning. Chisholm bounces out to Alonso, and here's the right-hand hitting Miguel Rojas. He is batter 7, so we'll check column 7, 43, and that will be a ground ball to short. Lindor comes up on it, throws a strike to Alonso for the 3rd out. 3 up, 3 down. Pete Alonso leads off the 2nd inning. For the Mets, it's going to be Alonso, McNeil, and Conforto. And let's pull a card. He is batter number 4, 53. So that's going to be a range check. And we're going to look with a 9. So it's a range check to who? To the center fielder, Marte. And rather than looking at the chart, which I don't have, and that's going to drop in right in front of Marte, because he's an 11. What did I say I rolled? A 9. No, Marte makes a sliding catch of a looping fly ball to center field to rob Alonso of a base hit. It's a nice catch by Marte. 1 away. Mcneil is up next. Let's pull a card. He is the 5th place batter. That's a 65 pitcher home run. So we're going to look at the pitcher 1 to 5. And we're going to pull a D20 from the next card. And that is a 1. That's a deep drive to right. And that's the 2nd deck for Mcneil here at Citi Field. The Mets lead at 1-0. All right, Michael Conforto's up. Home run for McNeil. Mets are up 1-0. And Curtis can face 27. We'll see how long he's going to go. All right, so Conforto's a 6th place batter. And it's a 46, which is ballpark. And the, oh, hold on a second, right back. All right, so it's, let's see, Conforto, 6th place batter. We roll a 46 with a 4. Let's look at City Fields. City Field data. City Field, he is a lefty. Lefty, a 4 is going to be a drive in the gap. It's going to split the outfield, roll to the wall, played off the wall by Marte. Digging for second is Conforto. The throw, the tag, he's safe. And shortstop Rojas wants him to look at it. But no. They're going to let the play stand, and Conforto with a double. So we got back-to-back hits here in the bottom of the second. Home run by Mcneil, and then a double by Conforto. Here's Luis Guillorme up. He bats 7th. We'll look at column 7. And that's an 11, which will be ball 4. So Guillorme walks. And the pitching coach is going to come out to talk to Curtis, who's allowed a homer, a double, and now a walk. We want to prevent this game from getting out of hand. Tomas Nido up. Tomas Nido, how's he doing? He's batting no at bats, so this is the first time he bats. It's been James McCann up till now. So he's an 8th place batter. And let's do it. 13, and that'll be a strikeout. He chases a high fastball for the second out of the inning. 2 away. And that leaves it to the pitcher, Stroman. He's a generic batter 2 card. He's probably going to make an out. Let's pull a card, number 9, 16, strike 3, and that ends the inning. But the Mets pick up a run on a couple of hits, and they lead it 1-0 after 2 complete. So this game plays modern baseball very, very smoothly. Chad Wallach leads off the top of the 3rd for the Miami Marlins. Batting 8th, so we're going to pull a card. We'll look at column 8, 61, and that'll be a strikeout. Strikeout number 3 for Stroman. And Curtis has 2. So 1 away now. Here at the top of the 3rd with the Mets leading 1-0 at Citi Field. Curtis, generic batter 1. And that's a 61, and that will be a strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Stroman. 2 down. And Corey Dickerson steps in the box. He bats from the left side. The pitch from Stroman. 42, and that'll be a little number in front of the plate. Nido pounces on it and throws out Dickerson to retire the side. 3 up and 3 down. 2-3 on that last put out. Bottom of the 3rd, 1-0 Mets. Top of the order, Brandon Nimmo going to face John Curtis, the right-hander, with his B column. The leadoff batter, we look at 63, and that'll be a fly ball left field. Towards the line is Dickerson, and he squeezes it for out number 1. Next up is Francisco Lindor, number 2 batter. That's a 15, and that will pull another card for the D20. And it's a 16. Which will be ground ball to short. Rojas throws him out, 2 away. And it's Dominic Smith. Smith lined out to right. 31, bounces one up the middle, and that's into center field for a base hit. So Smith has a single, a 2-out single. Next up is Pete Alonso. Great power. The polar bear. Here's a pitch, and that's a 45. It'll be a fly ball, deep center field, backing up is Marte to the track, and he hauls it in, so no runs. 1 hit, 1 left. We went to the top of the 4th inning. It's going to be Starling Marte leading off against Marcus Stroman. And let's do it. Here's a pitch, and 11. That's ball. That's going to be a ball 4. And he's going to have a potential for a steal there. Let's pull another card for a D20. And that is a 2. So there's a chance for an error on the catcher. Let's do it again. And no error on the catcher. So it's a walk and a stolen base, putting Marte in scoring position. Aguilar's up next with a runner at second. Marte. Stroman checks in with Tomas Nido for the sign. He sets and deals. Third place batter, 45. That'll be a fly ball to center field. Runner on second will tag up in advance. One away. Marte's at third with excellent speed. Here's Brian Anderson. What Stroman needs now is a strikeout. 1-0 Mets in the top of the fourth. Playing a April game. 2021 April game. Miami 6-2. Mets are 4-1. Fourth place batter Brian Anderson. Here's the pitch, and that's a 33. That's ripped. That's ripped for a base hit. Let's see if Marte will score from second. F advances, so he will score. He is an F. Well, he was in third, so he just came home. So picks up an RBI. Now he has a chance to steal second. Brian Anderson does. And that's going to almost be an automatic steal unless Nido is a strong arm. And Nido is a strong arm, so it's going to be an 18 or less. And we're looking at 4, and it's a stolen base. So 2 stolen bases in the inning for the Marlins. All tied at 1. Here's Adam Duvall, who hit 22 home runs and 300 at bats. So proportionally, pretty good season, pretty good card. He would have had 44 home runs in a full, maybe 600 at bat season. Played in 91 games. So Duvall comes up. He bats from the right side against Stroman. Brian Anderson should have pretty good speed. Let's check. No, actually, he's an S, so not good speed at all. And Marte should have been F. Let me just make sure Marte was F. All right, so let's do it. 1 out. Runner at second. Here's a pitch to the fifth place batter. We'll look at column 5. That's a 54. We'll just flip it over. It's going to be a potential pickoff. So catcher is a strong arm. So he picks him off. 1-6. It's a pickoff. So he picks him off at second base. 2-6. We'll say, well, it's a righty batter, so 2-4. Second baseman covering. So smart play by Tomas Nido, who whips it down across to second base, and Mcneil tags out. Brian Anderson, who was caught flat-footed, leaning. So now there's 2 outs, and it's Duvall. Again, Duvall, fifth place hitter, and it's a 56. Struck him out, and that ends the inning. But the Marlins pick up a run on a hit and a walk and a couple of stolen bases, all tied at 1 apiece. Jeff Mcneil leading off the bottom of the 4th inning for the Mets in a 1-1 game. We'll be heading to the gym very soon, just waiting for the sun to come up a little bit before I get on my motorcycle and get there. Jeff Mcneil, let's do it. He bats fifth, so look at column 5. And it's a 53. It's a range play, so it's going to be to the third baseman. And he is 5. And it's 11 to the third baseman. Who's playing third? It's Brian Anderson. Anderson is a 10, so that's Byam. It's Byam for a double down the line. Mcneil digging for second. The throw from Dickerson. Tagged by Chisholm, not in time. So Mcneil is 2 for 2. He homered and now doubled, and he stands at second base to lead off the bottom of the fourth. Michael Conforto's up. Sixth place batter for the Mets. So we'll look column 6. That's a 35. 1-4 single on it. And it's a 9, so it's a fly ball to right. Right fielder is Duvall. I think Duvall has a pretty good arm. In right field, he has a strong arm, so nobody's going to be tagging here. I'm not going to challenge Duvall's arm. Conforto flies out to right. That brings up Luis Guillorme, who walked in the second inning. Some action in the bullpen for the Marlins. We're looking at column 7. That's a 43, and a 43 will be a fly ball to right. And tagging up will be Mcneil. 2 out. Runner at third. And Tomas Nido's up. Now we could walk him and pitch to the pitcher, but Tomas Nido's not a very big threat. I'd rather have the pitcher leading off the bottom of the fifth. So let's do it. Nido bats 8th. And so we'll look at the 8 column, and that's a 53, which is a range check on the shortstop. And we'll look, he is an 8, and it's a 14. So this may be by Rojas for a base hit, and it is. Scoring is Mcneil, RBI single by Nido. Yikes. Range hit, ball hit in the hole, and Rojas just cannot make it there. So the score now is 2-1 Mets, and here is Marcus Stroman with a 41, and that'll be ball 4. So he walks to the pitcher, and now we're gonna go to the bullpen. Gonna go to the bullpen, and hopefully we can grab a lefty. So it's gonna be runners on first and second here for the Mets. Let's see, 41. Yep. Excuse me. So let's see who we have available to us in the bullpen. I got Blyer, lefty, and I got Detweiler, a lefty. I got Castano, a lefty. I got a lot of pitchers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pitchers. So Nimmo and Smith. Let's grab, let's save Blyer for a little bit later. Let's bring in a guy named, you know what? I'm going to bring in Blyer right now. It'll take us a couple of seconds to find the pitcher. Probably the last pitcher in the deck. You get all the players, and modern teams have like 40 cards, so you gotta go through a lot of guys. to find the guy that you want. Ooh, I struggled finding the guy I wanted there. It seems like I went through everybody, but I know I have flyer printed out. So what I'm going to do is separate the hitters from the batters. Hitters from the pitchers, excuse me. Score is 2-1 Mets here in the bottom of the fourth. So let's look at Yimi Garcia, Simber, Blyer. There he is, Richard Blyer. I have a tendency to want to call him Rocky Blyer. And we're going to roll real quick to see what kind of stuff he will have. He will have his ace stuff. He will face Nimmo, Blyer versus Nimmo. And remember that you have to, all pitchers have to face at least 3 batters in the inning. If the inning ends, I believe you can switch them out. So let's pull a card for Nimmo. Nimmo today's 0 for 2. He's lined out and flied out. First and second. 2 out. And it's a leadoff batter. It's a 53. That's going to be a range to the third baseman again. And what do we say about Brian Anderson's a 10, which is not too shabby. But the question is, will the ball be by him for a single? Yes, it will. It's a 13. So that's by the diving Brian Anderson. And 1 run will score, and the other runner will go to third. So RBI single, driving in Nito for Nimmo. And here comes Francisco Lindor, the righty. So first and third, 2 outs, 3-1 Mets. And Blyer will face Lindor. Here's a pitch. We'll look at column 2. And it's a 63, which will be a tapper right back to Blyer. Secures it, fires to Aguilar, and that retires the side. But the Mets pick up a couple of runs on 3 hits and a walk. They lead it 3-1. We go to the top of the 5th. Stroman's going to face Chisholm, Rojas, and Wallach in the top of the 5th inning. All right, that's the top of the 5th. 3-1 New York Mets. It's Chisholm, Rojas, and Wallach. It's a 51. That's going to be an error check. It's going to be an error check on the shortstop with an 11. So shortstop is, of course, Lindor, and Lindor is going to probably make that play because an 11 is pretty high. His error rating is a 3, so 11 is way above that. So he's going to grab that ball and handle it easily. So it'll be a 6-3 put out for the first out of the top of the 5th. Stroman is still in there for the Mets, and here is Miguel Rojas. He grounded to the shortstop in his first at bat of the day, and here he's going to hit it hard again to Lindor, and Lindor picks it up and fires over to Alonso for the second out of the inning. And here is Chad Wallach, who struck out in the 3rd, and a 32 will be a drive in the gap, and that's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. So digging for 2 is the catcher Wallach, and he makes it in there with a double. Got a hold of a slider from Stroman and drove it for a double. That puts the runner on second base with 2 outs. Top of the 5th, Miami trails by 2. And here comes the pitcher spot. So we're going to call on a pinch hitter here. So Blyer's out. And we got one lefty. It's going to be Sierra. Magnarius Sierra is going to come and pinch hit. So if Sierra gets a hold of one, this game could be tied. Well, would be tied. Oh, just past him. There he is, and here he comes, left-handed hitter. Sierra has 5 at-bats on the season. Hasn't had a hit yet. There are 2 outs. There's a runner at second base. And here's the pitch from Stroman. And a 32, and that's going to be a drive over the center fielder's head, and that's going to hit off the base of the wall. Played nicely by Nimmo. Wallach is going to come around to score, and Sierra into second base, sliding the tag by Lindor, and not in time. So an RBI double, pinch hit RBI double by Mcneil Sierra. Three to two now. All right, so it's a 3-2 game. Now we got to start considering maybe Stroman is tiring here. This is modern baseball. He's gone 4 2/3 of an inning. He's allowed 3 hits, so 4 base runners. So he should still be okay. Here's a lefty, Dickerson, and we're gonna have to face the lefty Dickerson. Dickerson reached on an error by Stroman in the first, 2-base error, when Stroman on a comebacker overthrew the first baseman Alonso, allowed Dickerson to get to second base. And then, of course, the little nubber in front of the plate, which was played by Tomas Nido in the third. So he's 0 for 2, but he's coming up in a big situation here with the tying run at second base. Let's see what happens. Fall Classic Baseball. Here's a pitch from Stroman, and a 63 is going to be a fly ball right field down the line. Will Conforto get there? Yes! Conforto comes out of nowhere, read it well off the bat. Didn't think he was going to make it, but all of a sudden, he reached it for the third out of the inning. So it's going to be a 3-2 ball game, 1 run on a couple of doubles. We got a new pitcher coming in for the Marlins with a couple of lefties batting. Man, too bad we had to pull Blyer, who was a lefty, because now we got 2 lefties coming up. Actually, we got 3 lefties in this inning. So I don't know if I have that many lefties. Let's see what happens here. So Sierra doubled, and then, of course, it was a fly out. And let's see what I could do here to make the change. Bullpen. I got a couple of lefties. Detweiler. You know what? I'm going to bring in Detweiler here. And confirming that. All right, Ross Detweiler is going to pitch to Smith, a lefty, Alonso, Mcneil, a lefty, and then Conforto, if he gets a chance to bat, will be also a lefty. So 3 out of 4, the next 4 batters are lefties. So Detweiler comes in. Let's see what kind of stuff Detweiler will have. And he will have his B stuff. And let's see what happens. Ross Detweiler, and Detweiler, what is he looking like? So far he's pitched an inning and 2/3. It's allowed. Just tells you 16.20 ERA with a 3.60 WHIP. Here's a pitch from Detweiler to Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith is 1 for 2, lined out to right and singled. And a 25 will be a pop-up left side, and that's the third baseman over Anderson. He makes the catch for the first out. Pete Alonso now. Alonso is flied out twice to center field. One of those was Marte back on the warning track. Here's a pitch from Detweiler. And that's a 46 with a 14. Going to look at Mets home park here of 14. He's a righty, and that's going to be a pop-up to the right side. Aguilar settles under it and makes the catch. So 2 back-to-back pop-ups. And here's Jeff Mcneil. Jeff Mcneil is 2 for 2. He homered. What homer was that? His first homer of the season? Let's check and see. Well, his second homer of the season. And he doubled. So he's 2 for 2. 2 extra base hits for Jeff Mcneil. Didn't have a great season in 2021. Batting .300 this season. Here's a pitch, and that's a snake eyes. And that'll be a bouncer to the first baseman, Aguilar, and he's going to flip to Detweiler covering. It's going to be 3-1, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits. 3 up, 3 down for Detweiler. And going to bring another pitcher in next inning. Going to be a righty this time. There we go, top of the 6th. Stroman, trying to get 7 out of Stroman, if that's possible. See what happens. Here's a Corey Dickerson made the last out. Here's Starling Marte. Marte grounded out, walked, stole second, and then scored. Here's a pitch. 61, and that's a check swing. They check with the first base umpire, and he went around, and Marte, a cool customer, heads back to the Miami bench, not saying very much. Here's Jesus Aguilar, popped up to the catcher and flied out to center. Pitch from Stroman, and almost a 66, and that's going to be a fly ball deep left field. Backing up is Smith, almost to the track, and makes the catch. So Dominic Smith tracks it down and left for the second out. And here's Brian Anderson. Anderson struck out and then singled, stole a base, and drove in a run. He was also picked off at second base. And here's a pitch from Stroman. And that's a 45. That'll be a bouncer to short. Scooped up by Lindor, and he makes the play. That retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. Easy inning for Marcus Stroman. So Marte struck out, then it was a fly out, and then it was a ground out. All right. Michael Conforto leading off against, we're going to get a, actually, you know what? I could let him face Conforto, and then we'll bring in the new pitcher to face the next 3 batters, 3 of which will be righties. So it'll make more sense for us. Oop. All right, so it's Detweiler, who retired 3 in a row in the 5th inning, and that's a 41. That's going to be ball 4. So he loses Conforto, and that's going to be all. Out comes the manager, gives him the hook. Conforto's on at first. We got a righty to come in, and it's going to be Simber. They're calling on Simber, the right-hander. Well, mostly what they have out there now. Let's grab Cinder. Supposed to separate these beforehand, but you know what? It's all right. He's trotting out to the mound from the outfield. I'm going to take his warm-up pitches. Simber. Not Simba, but Simber. Wow, I had to go through every single pitcher, and he still didn't show up. Let's see if he's in this set here. Yep, he was. All right, he's the last guy. Let's roll some dice and see what kind of stuff he will have. He will have his B stuff. Simber with his B stuff will come in here in the bottom of the 6th, facing Guillorme. And here's a pitch from Simber to Guillorme. That's a 15, and that is ripped to short. Rojas underhands it to Chisholm. The relay to first. Aguilar scoops it out of the dirt, and it's a 6-4-3 double play. 2 out now. So Guillorme rips it, but right at Rojas. Taylor made double play for the Marlins. 2 outs, nobody on, and here's Tomas Nido. And it's a 56. And that is bounce to Rojas. Turns into an out. What kind of an out of 5? Actually, bounce to Anderson. Jumps in front of Rojas, picks it up, and throws a strike to Aguilar. And that retires the side. So no runs, no hits, a walk. Nobody left. And Duvall, Chisholm, and Rojas. And this I'm expecting it to be Stroman's last inning, because he's due up in the bottom of the 7th for the Mets, and the way you play modern baseball is you got to pull your pitcher like that in that situation. Usually 7 is the most they're going to go. He's having a great game here. He's got only allowed 3 hits and a walk so far. So let's see how he does in this inning. We still may be able maybe to push him to 8 innings. That'd be crazy. All right, here goes. Here's a pitch to Adam Duvall, who struck out twice. And will he strike out again here? No. He drives one deep. And this game, my friends, is tied. Adam Duvall gets a hold of a fastball from Stroman, a meatball, and he strokes it into the seats and left center field, for a leadoff homer here in the top of the 7th, and this game is tied. So Duvall, with great power, like I said, proportionally he would hit 44 home runs had he played the whole season. And the score is tied at 3 apiece. So Stroman is not happy with himself after pitching an excellent game. Chisholm is next. We got a lefty, a righty, and I think a righty. So here's a pitch to Chisholm, and that's a 33. That is ripped to center for a base hit. And that will be all. Out comes the manager. And 33 is going to give an opportunity to steal. We're going to steal on the next pitcher who comes in. All right. I'm going to bring in Familia. Familia, major punk. Not a big fan of Jerry Familia. All right, Familia is going to replace Stroman. See what kind of stuff he will have. He will have his B stuff. And there goes Chisholm. Throw down from Nido, not in time. Stolen base for Chisholm. So that puts the go-ahead run in scoring position with Rojas up. Here's a pitch from Jerry Familia. That's a 45, and that'll be a ground ball to third. Guillorme looks Chisholm back, and that's 1 away. So Familia gets Rojas to ground out to third base. 5-3 for the first out here in the top of the 7th in the game. That's all tied at 3. The Marlins with 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Mets with 3 runs, 6 hits, and only 1 error. And that was on the pitcher Stroman, who's known, actually, I think he's a Gold Glove winner at some point in the last few years. Excellent fielder. Just gets to a lot of balls, so there's more chance to make an error when you get to a lot of balls. Here's Chad Wallach, right-handed hitter against Jerry Familia. Here's a pitch. And that's going to be a 41, and that's ball 4. So Familia loses them. That puts runners on first and second. And we're going to bring pinch hitter now. Who is it going to be? Who's it going to be? It's going to be Cooper, Garrett Cooper, batting 118 with 1 home run. Yikes. All right. So Simber is replaced by Cooper. Let's write that in. And runners on first and second with 1 out, 3-3, all here in the top of the 7th. Here's a pitch by Familia to Garrett Cooper. And that is a 12, which is oh my goodness, that is ball 4. So back-to-back walks, and this loads the bases. And that's going to be it for Jerry Familia with the bases loaded. And the lefty coming up. He faced 3 batters, Familia did. So we're going to grab Loop. Loop is our big lefty. He's critical here. He's crucial in this Mets bullpen. Actually had an amazing year. Had an ERA, I think, less than 1. Really was lights out. He was the only Mets reliever that really was untouchable. Nobody could even come close to Aaron Loop, who we lost this season. He went over to, man, I'm not even sure who he went to, but we definitely miss him. I think he went over to LA or something like that, or California, something on the West Coast, I believe. Aaron Loop, here he comes. Face the lefty Dickerson. And we're going to roll, see what kind of stuff he will have. And he will have his A stuff. Yes, sir. Exactly what the Mets needed. Loop with his best stuff. With the bases loaded, Mets are going to be forced to bring the infield in, something I don't like to do at all. Just don't like it. But sometimes you're kind of need to do it here in the 7th inning. We don't want to there's 1 out. If there were no outs, I'd consider allowing a run to score, even though it would give the Miami a lead in exchange for a double play. I would definitely consider that, but I'm not going to consider that right now with 1 out. I'm looking for that 2nd out. Maybe we can get a strikeout out of Loop. He's got good strikeout stuff. And Corey Dickerson does strike out as well. So let's see if a good combination here. Let's see what happens. Here's a pitch from Aaron Loop to Corey Dickerson with the bases loaded in the top of the 7th. The game is all tied at 3. Here's a pitch. And that is a 51. That's going to be an error check on somebody. That's going to be an error check on the shortstop. And that's going to be a play at the plate. 6-2. So Lindor feels it cleanly. He's going to go home with it. Since he was playing in, so it's a fielder's choice for Dickerson. And the runner is out at home on the force. And here comes Starling Marte, right-handed hitter. And man, I would have loved to have gotten a double. Normally, that would have been a double play with the infield back. Normally, would have been a double play. In that situation, it's not going to be a double play. It's a force out at home. Hold on, force out at home. The infielder playing in, home to first, double play. And the throw to first by Nito, and they got him at first base. So they checked that out on the replay, and they found out that he was out at first base, and that will retire the side. So I went into the book and found out that for some reason it's with the infield in, it's going to be a 6-2-3 double play. Pretty crazy. All right, so let's back up and let's do a 6-2-3 double play. So a ground out, 6-2-3 double play. Runner is out at home, runner is out at first, and that retires the side. Wow, pretty nuts. So the Mets turn a huge double play, and and I pulled a double switch that I didn't mention. Let's make sure. Hold on a second. Let's go back with loop facing Dickerson. Let's go back on that. So what did I just do? Let's go back. All right, pictures. Hold on a second. All right, so Dickerson hit into a 6-2-3 double play, and that ended the inning. Leading off is going to be James McCann. A new pitcher is going to come in. It's going to be Yimi Garcia. So far, fifth pitcher. So we got to get McCann. We got to get Yimi Garcia in there as well. What kind of stuff will Yimi have today? And he's going to have his B stuff. And McCann will be batting. He came in on a double switch. James McCann leading off for the Mets. All right. I could have pulled there's only, man, I don't think any more lefties are coming up. And I could pull, you know what? Hold on. It's going to be pinch hitting. It's going to be McCann pinch hitting. Let's fix that. All right, it's going to be Jonathan VR batting in the bottom of the seventh inning. The game is tied at 3. VR is a switch hitter, good speed, and has power as well. Hit 18 home runs and 450 at bats. So he has some power, has some speed. Batted .249. And let's do it. New pitcher is going to be Yimi Garcia. And here's pitch to VR. That's going to be a 45, and that'll be a bouncing ball to Aguilar at first, who grabs it and steps on the back for the first out. 1 down. Next up is Brandon Nimmo. Nimmo's 1 for 3. That's a 56, and he went around. Strike 3. So Nimmo strikes out. And here's Francisco Lindor. 22, and that'll be a ball 4. Plus, he's going to have a chance to steal. There he goes. And he is safe. So a walk and a stolen base. Lindor walks and quickly. Oh, no, that's not Nimmo. Nimmo's out. Nimmo struck out. And with 2 outs, it was a walk to Lindor, and then he steals second. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dominic Smith now. Dominic Smith 1 for 3. Yimi Garcia versus Dominic Smith with 2 outs. The game is tied at 3. Lindor takes his lead. Smith bats from the left side on the season, batting 176. Here's a pitch, and that is a 16, strike 3. And that retires the side. No runs. 1 and 2. No runs and no hits. A walk, 1 left. We go to the top of the 8th inning. The Marlins 3 and the Mets 3. All right, Starling Marte leads off. New pitcher for the Mets. It's going to be May. Kind of stuff will May have? May will have his B stuff. Trevor May coming in. Trevor May has 3 innings pitched, hasn't allowed a run yet. He will have his B stuff here in the top of the 8th inning. And here's a pitch to Marte Aguilar on deck, and in the hole is Brian Anderson. Here's a pitch, and that's a 22, which is line base hit. Ripped off the bat of Marte. He's on at first. And on that 22, then there he goes, and the throw down by Nito, and I believe he is out. I believe Nito has his S arm, and he's going to gun down the speedy. Yes, he does. He guns down the speedy Marte at second base. Yikes! So 2-4, and Marte's thrown out stealing. That's a surprise. I just rolled really high. Actually, I rolled really high on this. Hold on a second. That may actually be a pickoff. Yeah, that's going to be a pickoff. And so it's not going to be a caught stealing. It's going to be a pickoff. Trevor May has a strong arm. He's a righty. So we're going to re-roll. It's going to be a 1-8. He picks off Marte at first. 18-20. It could be a potential throwing error. Here goes. And he picks him off. Wow. That surprised me for sure. So Marte's picked off first by Trevor May. Caught him leaning. And that's the first out. So Marte singles, and then it's picked off. 1-3. And that's 1 out. All right, up next is Jesus Aguilar. Big power hitter for the Marlins. Hit 22 home runs. Here's a pitch. And a 43 will be a ground ball to short. Lindor backhands it, long throw to first, and he throws him out for out number 2. 2 away now. So a ground ball is pulled in the hole, and Lindor showing off the cannon. 2 out. Here's Brian Anderson. Anderson's 1 for 3, stolen base and an RBI today. Pitch from May, and that's a 64. Will be strike 3, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits. 3 up, 3 down for Trevor May. And we go to the bottom of the 8th here at Citi Field in beautiful downtown Queens, New York. Come on down. Go to the Shake Shack. Grab yourself a shake. All right, it's going to be Pete Alonso leading off. Again, we got to go to a new pitcher. All right. Got 2 righties and 2 lefties coming up. Let's see who we're going to call on. Floro, Yimi Garcia, Castaño. He only had 1 appearance. We're going to go with Bass. I think his name is Anthony Bass. Could that be his name? Anthony Bass, I believe is his name. He was traded this year. because I know they were making fun of it because he has a fish name. It was Fishman who was traded. Zach Pop was traded. And Anthony Bass was also traded, I believe, this year. All these pitchers they had last year. All right, so Anthony Bass is going to face Alonso, Mcneil, and Conforto. Going to roll to see what kind of stuff he will have. His A stuff. Bass comes in with his A stuff, scores 3-3. We're at the bottom of the eighth inning here in New York City Field. Flushing, Queens. Pete Alonso steps in the box. He's 0 for 3 today, and here's the pitch from Bass. Oh, and that's a deep drive. No doubt about it. That ball is out of here. Pete Alonso puts the Mets up by a score of 4-3. He walloped that one. Upper deck shot into left center field. Pete Alonso. Yikes. And that was Pete Alonso's third of the season in 6 games. This is the 6th game of the season. He's got 3 home runs already. Hit, I think, 37 hit. Mets are up 4-3. Pete Alonso with a solo home run off Anthony Bass. First pitch he saw from Anthony Bass. Here's Jeff Mcneil. Mcneil has a couple of hits, 2 for 3 today at 21, and that's a strikeout. Got him looking for the first out of the inning. Michael Conforto now. Conforto's 1 for 2 with a walk and a double. Pitch to Conforto, and that's a 56, and he checks his swing to check with a third base umpire, and he rings him up. Conforto has something to say, doesn't like it. Let's take a look on the replay, and he went around, no doubt about that. Luis Guillorme, left-handed hitter, he's 0 for 2 with a walk, hit it to a double play in the 6th inning. So 2 out, nobody on. Mets lead at 4-3, and Diaz is warming up in the bullpen. That's a 54 lookup check and a 54 card. It's a pop-up to shortstop, and that's going to be Miguel Rojas, and that retires the side. And here comes 1 run on 1 hit, the homer, the solo shot by Alonso. Here comes Edwin Diaz, the closer for the Mets. All right, so here comes Edwin Diaz, and Diaz will face. Guillorme popped up. Edwin Diaz will face Duvall, who homered, 1 for 3. Chisholm, who singled and stole a base, he's 1 for 3. And then Rojas, who's 0 for 3, 3 groundouts. Edwin Diaz is 1.2 innings pitched, hasn't allowed a run. Let's grab him quickly. It's going to be a blast to play next year's Mets. The Mets have a lot of victories. They're 30 games over 500 this season, so that's going to be exciting. Waited year after year after year for the Mets to have a good team, and it seems like they have a pretty good team this year. Their pitchers are coming through. They just got DeGrom back, and man, it's going to be great to play them next year. It's going to be fun to replay the season. All right, these games do take a little bit longer than your standard season. You know, there's a lot of pitching changes to be made, and there's actually a lot of strategy. I think more strategy now than there was at one time. You know, back in the 70s, 80s, it was just like one lineup and everybody bats and just bring in a pinch hitter once in a while. Anyway, Edwin Diaz, let's see what kind of stuff Diaz will have. He will have his C stuff. So Edwin not having his best stuff today will have his C stuff, but it's still pretty darn good. He is a little bit wild, so he has a tendency to will not allow any homers really, has a tendency to allow walks. So we'll see what happens. Duvall, good power. On 65, won't allow any home runs, but will allow them at 66 and so on. All right, here goes. Here's the pitch from Edwin Diaz to Adam Duvall. You know what? We're going to bring in outfield. We're going to grab Pilar, put him in left field. All right, so we improved the outfield tremendously. Here's a pitch, and that's a 26 against a lefty. It's going to be a drive in the gap. Will Nimmo get there? And yes, so a fly out. Against a lefty, it would have been a hit, but against a righty, it is a ball that Nimmo catches. Hung up there for Nimmo for the first out. Here comes Jazz Chisholm. The Marlins down to their last 2 outs here in the game. It's 4-3 Mets. Big hit being that 8th inning solo home run by Pete Alonso. Mcneil also homered in the 2nd inning, solo shot. All right, here's a pitch from Diaz. And that is a 62. Struck him out. So the Marlins down to their last out. Mets are 1 out away from victory. It'll be 5-1 if they can hold on and retire Miguel Rojas. Let's see what happens. Diaz checks in with Nito for the sign. He sets and deals. Oh, and that's a foul ball. Fouls it right back into the crowd. Let's do it again. Here's a pitch. And that's a 23. Strike 3, and ball game is over. The Mets win it. 2 big strikeouts for Diaz in that 9th inning. He picks up a save. And that's it. Trevor May will get the victory. And Edwin Diaz picks up his 2nd save. The loss goes to Anthony Bass. MVP is Mcneil. He did hit a solo homer and a double, scored a couple of runs in this game. But I'd say Pete Alonso probably is the hero. And let's look at the box score. And a pretty nice box score here. A lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of pinch hitters. I had Cooper and Sierra came in to pinch hit there. Then for the Mets, it was VR. Got a lot of pitching changes. Let's look at the pitching changes. Holy smokes. Typical modern game. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's about it. Stroman allows 3 earned runs, so it's a quality start. 3 earned runs in 6 innings. He walked 1, struck out 6, allowed 5 hits, and one of those was a home run. Jay Curtis, 3.2 with 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and a home run. Faced 18 batters. And that's it, my friends. This is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Check out Fall Classic Baseball. It's a great, fun game. And join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group and Fall Classic Facebook group as well. And I will definitely see you guys soon. Take care.